Welcome to Future Talks. This interview is brought to you by Imagine, Institute of Future Studies at Iqra University, and COMSTECH, Organization of Islamic Cooperation Standing Committee on Scientific and Technological Cooperation of OIC. We are very delighted to present His Excellency Mr. Taha Ayhan, the third president of the Islamic Conference Youth Forum, an affiliate institute to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation from Istanbul, Turkey. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today in Future Talks. Uh, Sir, the first thing that we would like to know is that what inspired you to take up the youth issue in OIC countries? What motivated you? You are young yourself, that can be one reason, but why did you focus on the youth issues in OIC countries?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's again, I want to express that it's an honor for me and a pleasure for me to be here with you in such an August occasion. First of all, I started my civic engagement very early on. I enjoyed it very much, and it gave me today a high degree of joy and satisfaction still. I cannot imagine myself doing otherwise. That's my path, I had choice. And also, this is a beloved destiny for me, that serving to others. And that's why I'm committed to the youth. And when you think about youth, then you're thinking about your future, not only yourself, but also the future of your family, your beloved ones, your community, your nation, and all the world. So I have chosen to serve to youth, to serve myself and my beloved ones and my beloved nation, my beloved Imma. Also, my engagement with youth at a very early age developed my vision on how to serve youth better, how to work with them closely for better future for the youth of the Muslim world and beyond. I speak to youth as an as one of them, and someone who know closely what's their issues, needs, problems, challenges, and ambitions. And I gained a lot of experience from working for youth and working with youth also. I have worked with wonderful teams, and this led me to gain lots of skills and experience on how to listen and communicate with them effectively, and guide and share the values with youth on their path to success. It was always my pleasure and life goal to serve the youth and my society and my blood ones together. This seems to be the true choice of my life as well. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me the strength to take the issues of youth further to global scale and work together towards a much more sustainable future of youth. And on this regard, ICYF, which has sole aim to serve to the youth of the Ummah, youth of the Muslim world, is a good opportunity for me and for my team to work for our noble goals. So I hope this answer is satisfactory for you.
Your Excellency, my another question is that youth is, Muslim youth constitute about 27 to 28% of the global youth population. And it is a wonderful opportunity that we have such a young population. On the same time, it is very difficult to tackle the problems they are going through. For instance, education, better skills, employability. So there are a lot of possibilities, both positive and negative. If you could tell us some about the negative possibilities which are out there because of the huge number of youth population, and the positive possibilities because of that.
Okay, as you mentioned, working with the youth of the Muslim world has so many challenges within itself due to the huge number of young population among the Muslim countries and among the other countries who are hosting Muslim population as well. But the problem is not the number of population only, but the problem um, has so many dimensions and dynamics. For example, according to the ICYF and CESRIC report on status of youth in the OIC countries of 2020, which we have prepared in the beginning of the 2020, and we have published in the 12th month of the 2020, it shows that according to the United Nations statistics, almost 80% of the whole conflicts and clashes in the world is taking place, unfortunately, in the OIC countries. And this affects the almost more than half of the whole population, not only youth. So only by this statistics, we can see that the conflicts and the clashes which takes place in the member states, which composed of 56 different countries in 4 different continents, are affecting the whole population, and the most affected population among these affected ones are young people who are below 35 years old. Because, you know, while you're talking about young people, you are talking about the people who are in the beginning of their journey to life. It means that they have no settled uh, life structure. Um, they have to take education. They have to guarantee their daily meal at least. They are now at the beginning of forming a family if they have. So while you're talking about a young person, then you're talking about full of opportunities and full of threats. And it's also the same for the whole young population. And these conflicts and clashes are only working to graving the threats, but not serving to promoting the opportunities, of course. Because of these conflicts and clashes only, the young people has some more difficult times, tougher times, and tougher challenges to reach to education and to be employed, to reach the opportunities to settle a family or to have a house. Um, so all of those threats, of course, obviously, lowering the status of the young people in these OIC countries who are hosting conflicts and clashes. So there are so many threats that we can count until the morning, but also there are so many opportunities and positive sides of being a young person in the Muslim world, and either in OIC countries and also in non-member states as well. Because um, as the um, members of this ummah, this Muslim world, we, of course, we are sharing a spirit of being one voice, being one spirit. So this is very important to have this solid feeling of emotion of ummah spirit. On the other hand, um, we know that these 56 countries, mostly Muslim populated countries, have so many opportunities because mostly they are the developing countries, and in the developing countries, young people who are the motor power of development of the economies, they have so many opportunities compared to a structured economies which are already developed. On the other hand, uh, as the 56 countries, we have almost more than half of the all resources, natural resources of of the whole world. So the young people, if works hard and have enough opportunities, I believe that these 56 countries will make the future of the whole world. Um, so as young people, we have to build our future by ourselves, by our hands. And I know there are some other challenges which are raising from the very state level, very local level, but we have to tackle them by working very hard and working together.
Your Excellency, my next question is about the females among youth. Do you find specific and different challenges and opportunities for OIC member state female young members?
Um, my answer is unfortunately yes. Um, Due to the cultural uh, cultural differences, also the economical differences, and due to the dynamics that these societies have within themselves, unfortunately, the sisters of us in Muslim countries, especially in these 56 countries, have um, more harder challenges compared to their male counterparts. On this regard, we have to focus on betterment of the female members of our societies, because you know that we are either um, a husband or a son or a brother of our sisters. So if we empower their status, if we make betterment of their life, it means that we will empower ourselves, we will empower our societies, and also it will help this create a sustainable societies and nations. Raising the status of women in Muslim world means that raising the Muslim world itself also.
Sir, you have worked on providing education to the young members of OIC member states, and for that, you have also talked about providing significant access to quality university education to the Muslim youth to overcome the digital divide that we are going through. What have your organization done so far in order to provide quality access education to our young members of the society?
Thank you very much for this question, because it's an opportunity for me to highlight and underline what we have done so far in ICYF for the young members of our societies. While we are talking about the Muslim young uh, people, youth of our Ummah, for these 56 countries, I'm talking about 600 million people. Um, um, if I have to be specific about the numbers. And these 600 million people are living in 56 different countries in four uh, different continents. So they have very um, different backgrounds. They have very various cultural roots, and they are from different economical levels and income levels. So their life visions are very different. Um, but we are focusing on especially uh, giving enough opportunity for every young member of our Ummah. Even though we have limited resources and we are a humble organization compared to this huge mandate, we are trying to mobilize our member states' resources and try to secure their support to ICYF. And we are trying to also focusing on allocating our resources to promote especially the entrepreneurship, developing the entrepreneurial skills, um, developing the skills of young people for vocational education, for communicational skills, and soft skills. And on this regard, for example, we had organized several investment summits to give some different chances for startups, for successful startups um, to reach uh, other financial resources by creating medium for investors and potential investors and the startups. And also we had offered so many entrepreneurial courses to gain them some entrepreneurial skills. Also, we are now focusing on vocational education um, with different member states as Turkey, as Mali, as Malaysia, and also Palestine as well. Also, now we have created an LMS, the Learning Management System, which provides different courses in more than 50 different topics. And we are now offering online courses for our model OIC clubs, which now has been founded in almost 400 different universities in 46 different countries. And also we had offered several diplomatic courses for training the new young diplomats, for encouraging our young brothers and sisters to follow a path of career in the diplomacy and international organizations. And these are some of our some examples of uh, our activities up to now.
And sir, do we have a concentrated strategy, a youth strategy that is agreed upon by all the 57 OIC member states?
Yes, as you know, according to the OIC rules and regulations, OIC is an international organization, intergovernmental organization, and the highest decision making level of the OIC is the Summit of Leaders, and then there is an yearly basis council of foreign ministers gatherings also, and also there are sectoral in the sectoral ministerial meeting at the ICYSM, Islamic Cooperation Council of Youth and Sports Ministers meeting, the 56 member states has agreed upon to adopt a youth strategy for 2025. And then this youth strategy has been adopted by the Council of Foreign Ministers as well. So now, as the implementing agency, as the implementing organization, ICYF is trying to fulfill her mandate on implementing this OIC youth strategy, which is adopted by 56 different countries, which is focusing on betterment and empowerment of the youth status in these 56 countries, and also focusing on battle combating against the Islamophobia in non-member states.
Sir, you have talked about providing education, and you said that for that you have your learning management system set up, and you are reaching out to a young population of OIC countries. I was wondering, there is a challenge of accessing internet or having internet facility in many remote parts of OIC member states. How do you think we can overcome this challenge? Do we have any kind of partnership that we are planning with the telco companies to reach out in these remote areas to connect them to access quality education?
Of course, this is one of the biggest problems, especially that we are facing now during the pandemic, because during the pandemic, most of the countries, almost all countries in the world, has decided on several precautions against COVID-19, and these precautions uh, forcing people to stay at their home, and so many activities of not only for ICY but also for all other international organizations has transformed their projects and activities in virtual reality. But then we had understood that there is a huge part of population who has no internet access, who are living in remote areas, as you mentioned. Um, so I think the government sectors and the private sectors has to cooperate on this issue for offering internet infrastructure and telecommunication infrastructure to people who are living in the remote areas, because as it's understood and as it's obvious now, um, for the next 5 or 6 years probably, we have to live with COVID-19 pandemic, and it's not hard to guess that during this term, so many activities in the educational side and in other sides has to be turned into virtual reality. So for virtual reality, our young people has to have internet access for uh, not to stay um, back from their educational pace. On the other hand, for ICYF, it's not easy for us to offering an internet infrastructure or starting a campaign with the telecommunication sector for either for private sector or for government sector to betterment for the internet access or expanding the internet access. But as I see this platform is very fruitful on making this call, I want to repeat my call for government sector and private sector to uh, make corporations for expanding the internet infrastructure and telecom infrastructure in the remote areas for young people.
Your Excellency, in 2020, February of 2020, you have given an interview where you talked about your plan that you are going to achieve by 2025. And then we were hit by COVID-19, and it has driven global economy into a recession. And we are finding it still difficult to overcome the challenges it has posed. How has that affected your plan for 2025?
Um, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected ICYF and our plans as it's affected the whole world because we are part of this world. We cannot differentiate ourselves from this world. We have to postpone so many activities. First of all, from the February of 2020 until now, we have stopped all of our organization in field in person. We have to transform everything in virtual reality. And I have already mentioned about the difficulties of the virtual reality on reaching the young people who are in need in what who are living in the remote areas. But also in virtual reality, even though you are providing the all the best courses or you are providing the all the best mediums for making people to meet and interact with each other, it's impossible to reach the efficiency of organizing a meeting or an organization in person in field. So we are now facing with these challenges also. And since the COVID-19 pandemic is something unprecedented, we have a transformation period from beginning of March until the end of April. So at least we have lost more than 3 months. Also, our projects, which has to be followed up in person in field, has to be either cancelled or has to be postponed for an unnamed date for the moment. So these are the difficulties and challenges that we have affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But on the other hand, I cannot deny that we are enjoying another barakah, another blessing of this virtual reality also, because during the 2020, in our 15 different programs which had been organized online, we have reached more than 3.5 million young people from 123 countries. Organizing such a thing, such a program in field, in person, means there will be a huge cost of transportation, accommodation, and other organizational costs, and which would be at a total of more than millions of dollars. So at least we are now enjoying to reach different young people at a huge amount by online during this pandemic. But I cannot answer your question exactly that how this COVID-19 pandemic affected us for how long, because for the moment it's impossible to foresee the results and the end date.
Uh, Sir, another question as far as access concerns is one part is the technology that we need to be we need to have available so that I can access internet and the resources available on it. but most of the resources that are of highest quality are in English or in Mandarin or in any of those languages which are spoken in developed countries, not in the developing countries which are part of OIC member state. So is there any plan of ICYF to work on those applications which translate one language into another, making it possible for our youth to access highest quality of material without learning a different language?
Okay, this is one of the another problematic issue of providing any material, not only educational material, but providing any material. For the moment, I think we can name the lingua franca of the world as English and Mandarin due to the huge population of China, and maybe the French or Spanish. Um, so the working languages of the OIC countries are Arabic, English, and French, as you know. And in ICYF, we are trying to produce and provide our services and our documents in these three languages as well to reach as much as people we can do. But on the other hand, uh, as international organizations, maybe ICYF can follow this trend if it happens uh, as an international organization. But as international organizations, we have to start on thinking about producing our documents and providing our resources in other languages also as well, in local languages also. In ICYF, we are trying to provide some of our services, not all of them, but some of our services, with the help and assistance of the hosting countries, of course, in the local languages, as Hausa in West Africa, in Nigeria, namely, or in Swahili in East Africa, or in Russian language in Russia or in the CIS countries. So if we have a chance uh, or assistance of providing and producing our documents and making our communication in local languages with the assistance of the hosting country, we are trying to use this chance wisely. But without the assistance of the hosting countries or member states, it's impossible.
So, sir, my next question is about the role of Islamic Development Bank and how is that helping in facilitating youth getting education and necessary skills, and also getting the investment to start their own businesses.
Okay, thank you very much. Islamic Development Bank has the Youth Strategy for 2025 as well as an implementing agency of the OIC countries. And ISDB mostly funding the projects from the member states. So we have a good coordination with ISDB, but they are funding the member state projects, not the ICY projects. So this is the case, but I can say that they are very generous against the young projects or for youth projects from member states.
And is there any cooperation and collaboration of the civil society in facilitating the youth? And are they connecting with you or collaborating with your organization? Any businesses who are interested in collaborating with your organization?
Uh, of course, not businesses, because ICYF is a non-profit organization. We had formed up as an international core diplomatic organization, which is working on youth sector. So we don't have any business, but we have projects for the benefit of young people. And ICYF, of course, have so many links and relations and cooperation and coordination with the NGO sector of all member states. And as you know, our member of General Assemblies, General Assembly members are the national youth organizations, national youth NGOs of the member states. So ICYF is composed of the youth NGOs in the member states.
Sir, you have said that female young members of OIC member states have some specific challenges, and one of your goal is to protect women against violence. What is ICYF doing in order to protect women against violence in OIC member states?
Thank you very much. We are working for empowerment, the status of young people. We don't have a mandate, directly mandate, to avoid the the violence against young women, of course, because this is under the mandate of mostly the governments and other international organizations. But we are focusing on empowerment, the status of the young women in their societies, and for this goal, we are trying to provide entrepreneurial courses or vocational courses. Uh, Trying to create mediums like investment summits for matching them with the potential investors if they have startup ideas. So this is what ICYF is doing for young women.
Thank you so much for joining in. We really appreciate your help, and we thank you for all your service to humanity. Thank you once again, Your Excellency, Mr. Taha Ayhan.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure and honor for me. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Once again on Futures Talks, we'll bring you another episode with another prominent member of OIC member state and the scientists of OIC member states as well. Please stay tuned and be well. Thank you.